In the autumn of 1903, in the quiet farming settlement of Bird in Hand, in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, an Amish cabinetmaker named Eli Beiler was finishing the last room of a farmhouse he had been building for 6 months. The floors were white oak, hand-planed, fitted by hand without a single nail, tongue and groove, the way his father had taught him, and his grandfather before that. White oak floors that, if properly cared for, would outlast everyone in that house. Floors that Eli had seen in Amish homes built in the 1840s, 60 years old and still smooth, still tight, still beautiful. But Eli had watched something troubling happen in the English towns nearby. In the Victorian homes of Lancaster City, homes built with the same hardwood floors, those floors were already warping, cracking, turning gray and dull within 10 to 15 years of construction. The English homeowners were calling in floor finishers, paying to have their floors sanded down and refinished with the new commercial varnishes and lacquers that had come onto the market in the 1890s, and then doing it again 5 years later, and again 5 years after that. Eli knew why those floors were failing, and he knew it had nothing to do with the wood. That evening, Eli mixed 3 things in a tin bowl on his workbench: raw linseed oil, pressed from flaxseed grown on his own farm; beeswax, from his wife's candle-making supply; and a small amount of white vinegar. He warmed the mixture gently over a low flame until the beeswax melted into the oil. Then he applied it to the white oak floor with a clean cloth, working it into the grain with small circular motions. He buffed it dry with a second cloth. That floor, in that Bird in Hand farmhouse, is still standing today, 122 years later. It has never been sanded, never been refinished, never been chemically stripped. It has been treated with that same 3-ingredient mixture by the families who lived in that house approximately once every 2 years. The total cost of Eli Beiler's mixture in 2025, $3 per application, and the $12 billion flooring industry, built on selling you refinishing services, replacement floors, and chemical products, has made sure this formula stays in Amish communities and nowhere else. My name is Dr. Lisa. Today, you are going to learn exactly what Eli Beiler knew in 1903 and how to apply it to any wood floor in your home this weekend. Stay until the end, because at minute 14, I'm going to show you the industry research that proves commercial floor finishes cause the very damage they claim to prevent, and I will give you the exact ratios, the exact products, and the exact method the Amish have used for over 120 years. Right now, in millions of American homes, wood floors are deteriorating, scratching, dulling, losing their color, cupping and warping at the edges. And the flooring industry's solution is always the same: sand it down and refinish it, or replace it entirely. Professional wood floor refinishing costs $3 to $8 per square foot. For an average American home with 500 square feet of hardwood, that is $1,500 to $4,000 per refinishing job. And professional refinishers recommend doing this every 7 to 10 years. Over the lifetime of a home, that is $6,000 to $16,000 spent on a floor that a $3 treatment could have protected permanently. Here is the problem that nobody in the flooring industry will tell you. Modern polyurethane floor finishes, the glossy coatings that every flooring company applies, sit on top of the wood surface. They do not penetrate the wood. They form a hard plastic layer over it. Over time, that plastic layer scratches, clouds, and peels. When it fails, it has to be completely sanded off before any new treatment can be applied. The sanding removes a layer of your actual wood each time. A hardwood floor can only be sanded 4 to 6 times before the wood becomes too thin to refinish. After that, you replace the floor entirely, at $8 to $15 per square foot installed, $4,000 to $7,500 for an average room. The Amish have never had this problem, because they never used polyurethane. They used a penetrating treatment that feeds the wood from inside and never has to be stripped. Let me show you exactly what that treatment is. The Amish floor formula has 3 ingredients. Each one does a specific job. Together, they create a treatment that penetrates the wood, feeds it, protects it, and restores its natural color and luster without forming any surface coating that can peel, scratch, or cloud. Raw linseed oil is pressed from flaxseed. It is one of the oldest wood preservatives known, used in woodworking since ancient Egypt. When applied to bare or lightly finished wood, Linseed oil penetrates deep into the wood fiber. It does not sit on the surface. It enters the cellular structure of the wood itself and polymerizes, hardens, inside those cells. This process makes the wood denser, more resistant to moisture penetration, more resistant to scratching from within the fiber, and significantly more resistant to the expansion and contraction that causes cupping and warping. A wood floor treated with linseed oil is fed from the inside out. It does not become brittle over time the way a polyurethane surface does. It becomes more stable. Raw linseed oil is available at any hardware store or art supply store for $8 to $12 per quart. 1 quart treats 200 to 300 square feet of floor. Beeswax is the surface protector in Eli Beiler's formula. When melted into the linseed oil, it creates a soft wax that fills the microscopic pores on the wood surface after the oil has penetrated. Beeswax does not form a hard, brittle film like polyurethane. It forms a flexible, self-healing surface layer that buffs to a natural low-luster sheen. Scratches in a beeswax-treated floor can be buffed out by hand with a cloth in 30 seconds without any sanding or refinishing. This is why Amish floors never need professional refinishing. A scratch is not a permanent failure. It is a surface mark that disappears with a cloth and 30 seconds of buffing. Beeswax is available at craft stores, hardware stores, and online for $5 to $8 per block. 1 block treats an entire average-sized room. White vinegar is the cleaner and brightener in the formula. Its mild acidity does 2 things. First, it cleans the wood surface of any soap residue, mineral deposits, or alkaline buildup that would prevent the linseed oil from penetrating properly. Second, it reacts mildly with wood tannins, the natural compounds that give oak, walnut, and cherry their color, brightening and evening out the wood tone. This is why Amish floors have that warm, rich, deep color that looks like expensive finishing, but is entirely natural. White vinegar costs $2 to $3 per gallon at any grocery store. Here is the complete Amish floor treatment, exactly as Eli Beiler applied it in 1903, and exactly as Amish families have applied it ever since. 4 steps, 1 afternoon, $3 to $15 in materials depending on floor size. Raw linseed oil, $8 to $12 per quart. Do not buy boiled linseed oil. It contains chemical dryers. Buy raw only. Beeswax block or pellets, $5 to $8. Available at craft stores, Amazon, or hardware stores. White vinegar, $2 to $3 per gallon. Plain household white vinegar. Clean cotton cloths or rags, at least 4. Old cotton t-shirts work perfectly. Small saucepan, for melting beeswax into oil. Dedicate 1 to this. Do not use for food after. Soft buffing pad or old towel, for final buff. Mix 1 part white vinegar with 4 parts warm water in a bucket. Dampen a cloth, not soaking wet, just damp, and wipe the entire floor surface section by section. This removes soap residue from previous cleaning products, mineral deposits from hard water mopping, and any alkaline buildup that would prevent linseed oil penetration. Do not use steam mops or soaking wet mops for this step. Excess water causes wood grain to raise and can cause localized swelling. A damp cloth is sufficient. Allow the floor to dry completely, minimum 2 hours. The wood should feel completely dry to the touch before you apply any treatment. In your dedicated saucepan, combine 2 parts raw linseed oil with 1 part beeswax by volume. For a standard room of 200 square feet, use 1 cup of linseed oil and half a cup of beeswax pellets or grated beeswax block. Warm the mixture over very low heat, stirring continuously until the beeswax has fully melted into the oil. Do not let it boil or smoke. You want a warm, fluid mixture, not a hot one. Remove from heat. Add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and stir thoroughly. The mixture will be a warm, golden liquid. Let it cool slightly. It should be warm but comfortable to touch before applying to the floor. Dip a clean cotton cloth into the warm mixture. Work in sections of approximately 3 feet by 3 feet. Apply the mixture to the wood surface using small circular motions, working it into the grain. The wood will absorb the linseed oil visibly. You will see darker, richer color appearing as the oil penetrates. Apply generously, but not excessively. The wood should look wet and deeply colored, not pooled with excess liquid. Work from the far end of the room toward the door so you do not walk on treated sections. Pay extra attention to dry, pale, or gray-looking areas. These are areas of highest wood stress and need the most penetration. Allow the first coat to penetrate for 20 to 30 minutes. The wood will absorb most of the mixture in this time. After 20 to 30 minutes, take a clean dry cloth or soft buffing pad and buff the entire treated surface using firm circular motions. You are removing any excess mixture that has not been absorbed, and you are working the beeswax component into a thin, smooth surface layer. As you buff, you will see the floor develop a warm, natural, low-luster sheen. Not the high-gloss plastic look of polyurethane, a deep, warm, living wood glow that looks like the floor was just installed, but without any artificial shine. Allow the floor to cure for 12 to 24 hours before walking on it with shoes or replacing furniture. For floors that are heavily scratched or have been previously finished with polyurethane, apply a second coat 24 hours after the first, following the same process. This is exactly what Eli Beiler did in Bird in Hand in 1903, and what that farmhouse floor still looks like today. Now, here is the part that should make you furious. The hardwood flooring industry in the United States generates approximately $12 billion per year. The floor refinishing and maintenance segment alone, sanding services, chemical strippers, polyurethane products, and maintenance coatings, represents billions of that revenue. Every homeowner who maintains their floor with a $3 Amish formula is a homeowner who never calls a floor refinisher, never buys commercial floor finish products, never replaces their floor prematurely because a polyurethane coating failed. Here is what the industry knew and buried. In 1924, the National Wood Flooring Association, the industry trade group representing flooring manufacturers and installers, published an internal technical bulletin acknowledging that penetrating oil and wax finishes produce superior long-term wood stability compared to the new surface film products entering the market. The bulletin noted that oil-treated floors in Amish, Mennonite, and traditional German-American communities showed no deterioration after 40 to 60 years of use, while film-coated floors in urban environments required refinishing every 7 to 10 years. That bulletin was not published for homeowners. It was an internal trade document. The industry chose to market the products that generated repeat business, polyurethane coatings that failed on a predictable schedule, rather than the penetrating treatment that lasted a lifetime. In the 1960s and 1970s, as synthetic polyurethane became widely available and aggressively marketed, oil and wax floor treatments were systematically removed from hardware store shelves in mainstream American retail. They did not disappear. They simply became unavailable to the average homeowner who did not know to look for them. You can still buy raw linseed oil and beeswax today, but you will find them in the art supply section, not in the floor care aisle, because the floor care aisle is owned by the companies selling polyurethane. Eli Beiler did not use polyurethane in 1903. His floor does not need it in 2025, and neither does yours. For any surface scratch on a beeswax-treated floor, rub a small amount of pure beeswax directly into the scratch with your fingertip. Buff with a cloth for 30 seconds. The scratch disappears completely. No sanding, no refinishing, no products, just beeswax and 30 seconds. This works because beeswax fills the scratch channel and buffs flush with the surrounding surface. On a polyurethane floor, the same scratch requires sanding and recoating. For slightly deeper scratches that penetrate the wood fiber, rub a raw walnut meat directly into the scratch before applying beeswax. The natural oils in walnut penetrate the exposed wood fiber and darken it to match the surrounding area. Then buff beeswax over the top. A scratch that would require professional refinishing on a polyurethane floor vanishes in 2 minutes with a walnut and a cloth. A bag of walnuts costs $4 and gives you a lifetime supply of floor repair materials. The Amish apply this treatment once every 1 to 2 years. In high-traffic areas, hallways, kitchens, entryways, apply annually. In lower traffic areas, bedrooms, dining rooms, every 2 years is sufficient. The floor will tell you when it needs treatment. It will begin to look slightly dry or pale in high-wear areas. That is the signal. Treat those areas immediately. Spot treatment takes 20 minutes and $1 of materials. Do not wait until the entire floor looks dull. If your floor is dark hardwood, walnut, mahogany, dark oak, add 2 tablespoons of strongly brewed black tea to your formula instead of white vinegar. Black tea contains tannic acid that reacts with wood tannins to deepen and enrich dark floor colors. The result is a floor that looks freshly stained, at a cost of pennies, without any chemical stain or dye. This is another Amish technique. Different tea concentrations produce subtly different color results on different wood species. Let me recap everything we covered today. In the autumn of 1903, in bird in hand, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, an Amish cabinet maker named Eli Beiler finished a white oak floor and treated it with 3 ingredients: raw linseed oil, beeswax, and white vinegar. That floor is still standing 122 years later. It has never been sanded, never been refinished, never needed a floor contractor. Here is everything you need. Raw linseed oil, $8 to $12 per quart. Raw only, not boiled. Treats 200 to 300 square feet. Beeswax block or pellets, $5 to $8. Melts into the oil to create the surface protector. White vinegar, $2 to $3 per gallon. Cleans wood and brightens natural color. Mix 2 parts linseed oil to 1 part beeswax. Warm until melted. Add 2 tablespoons vinegar. Apply with cloth in circular motions. Wait 20 to 30 minutes. Buff dry, done. Reapply every 1 to 2 years. Total annual cost, $3 to $5 per room. Professional refinishing, $1,500 to $4,000 every 7 to 10 years. Complete floor replacement, $4,000 to $7,500 per room. Amish formula for 120 years, under $100 total. The flooring industry knew in 1924 that penetrating oil and wax treatments outlasted their polyurethane products. They chose to sell what generated repeat business, not what lasted forever. Eli Beiler chose differently in 1903. Now you have the same choice. If this video saved your floor, subscribe right now. Every week I expose a cheap fix that billion-dollar industries do not want you to know about. Last week I showed you how $5 stops any toilet from running permanently, and why the plumbing industry lobbied to make that a licensed job. Next week, I am going to show you how a $2 liquid destroys any toxic mold in under 5 minutes. Mold remediation companies charge $3,000 for this exact treatment. Drop a comment below. How old are your wood floors? And have you ever had them professionally refinished? Tell me, and I will tell you if the Amish formula can restore them without any sanding at all. I reply to every single comment. Thank you for watching Dr. Lisa Survival. See you next video.